So go ahead and come to a comfortable seat on your mat. Wiggle around and settle in. We'll just do kind of a brief meditation before the practice. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top of your inhale, filling your lungs, letting them stay expanded. And then slowly release on the exhale through your nose. Start from draining the top of your lungs if you can, from your shoulder area, down your chest, and finally push out the remaining air from your belly. And then take a long, slow inhale, starting from your belly, moving into your chest, and then continuing the exhale in, or the inhale into your shoulders. And then hold at the top of your inhale, and then slowly exhale through your nose again, first through your shoulders, then your chest, and then push the remaining air out of your belly, your abdomen. Take another deep breath in, starting from your abdomen. And once the abdomen's full, come up to your chest. And when your chest fills, continue to breathe into your shoulders until you're completely filled with air, and then hold your inhale. And slowly begin to exhale, first exhaling from your shoulders, then your chest, and then your abdomen. Once you push the remaining air out of your abdomen, continue to hold your breath on the exhale for as long as is comfortable before gently returning to an inhale and your regular breathing through your nose. For today's practice, we'll want to center around the breath and stay mindful of it throughout the whole practice. When you're inhaling, when you're exhaling, where your body gives you resistance towards the inhale, and where it gives you movement and opening on the exhale. Observe how just the process of inhaling and exhaling can melt through tension, and you can feel blockages that are dissolved when sending the breath to those areas within the body. Concentrate on connecting to the ground through your root at the base of the spine. And blend into the trees that surround us and send your roots deep into the ground. And then feel the energy pulling up from your roots as it travels through your trunk up to your head, where you have branches and leaves which are pulling in the energy from the atmosphere. So you're both pulling up and pulling down. Fixing right in your center. Now begin to raise your hands up to your heart. Rub your hands together. Create warmth between your palms. And then place your palms over your eyes. Begin to pull your palms away from your face and blink your eyes open. Namaste. Hello, welcome. So, we were doing some meditation practice before you arrived. And this is today's class. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the class again with kind of a briefer opening than I had planned, so that we'll get into our yoga sequence a little bit faster. So you basically just missed meditation ahead of time. Okay, so to energize, wake up, and attune to the same frequency, we're going to do a quick session of breathing routine, pranayama. We're going to do our inhale with in through the nose, and then we'll begin a quick and rapid exhale through the nose. Kapalabhati, if you've done this before. Inhaling like this, and then we exhale in multiple quick successions, and we don't focus on the inhale afterwards, but the inhale is a responsive factor after the exhale. So it's like you focus on your abdomen pressing inwards, which is the compressive motion causing the exhale, and then as it rebounds, coming back forwards, it automatically pulls breath in without you having to focus on it. It takes a little bit to get used to, but just go for that. Try to focus on just the exhale. Don't focus on the inhale. The inhale will happen naturally, and the entire time we're breathing through our nose. So, let's begin. Deep breath in, and we'll go for like 30 rounds to start. So 30 exhales. You should be audibly exhaling. I should hear both of you go. You can't do it right without the... Try it. Right. Come on. This helps with allergies. We're clearing the sinuses as well as the lungs in this practice. Like, it's very difficult if you have blocked sinuses or lungs, but it helps to alleviate any blockages. So now let's try that again. 30 more rounds. Deep inhale. Make sure to have loud, audible exhale through your nose. And begin. Both need to be louder. Come on. Okay, last round. Another 30 times. Deep inhale in through your nose. And begin. You'll get used to it. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 Om chanting. So go ahead and bring your eyes to a close. Bring your hands over your heart. Take a deep breath in. And a slow, long breath out through your nose. Breathe in from your abdomen. Pull up into your chest. And then up into your shoulders. And then out through your shoulders. Out through your chest. Out through your abdomen. Now prepare for Om. Join me as loud as you'd like to. Inhale in through the nose. Now open your eyes. Namaste. Welcome again. Alright. I can tell we're feeling a little bit more awake than you're feeling. So, that's alright. Let's go ahead and get started with our routine today. Start by standing up. And we'll begin with some sun salutations. The whole practice today will probably revolve around sun salutations. Do either of you have any specific areas of tension or soreness you'd like to sort of address a little bit more? Or just a whole body opening? Ray? Okay. Alright, so we'll just do whole body then, which will be good. This is what I planned. So go ahead and come to the top of your mat. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart to start, to bring better balance. Hands down at our sides. And first we're just going to focus on Tadasana, which is the standing stick pose. Now, to stand properly, we don't really think about this every day, how we're standing, but really let's stand properly in a loose yet engaged posture throughout your whole body. If you're familiar with Tai Chi, the Tai Chi principles apply here. We have basically our feet are pressing into the ground. We're consciously aware of how the pressure is sinking into the ground beneath us. We're aware of how our crown is pulling up while our head remains level. So our eyes lock onto the horizon to keep our head level. And then our fingers reach down towards the ground, almost with the same mentality of rooting, we're rooting through our hands and our feet. Even though our hands are not touching the ground, they're still rooting into the ground. You can imagine like roots extending beyond your fingertips into the ground beneath us. Our knees are not locked. They're not completely back. We shouldn't really stand with our knees locked any of the time. But our knees are straight, micro-bend, engagement. They're just not locked. They're not pushing backwards. They're staying in like a normal leg shape. While you're pressing down through the back of your heels, you feel a little bit of lightness in the forward body as your toes can actually lift up when you're standing in this pose, but we're really trying to maintain equal pressure among a triangle inside of our foot, to imagine that we have 1 point in our heels and 2 points in the side of the front of our foot. And you could even do 4 corners of your foot as well, to feel like your heel has 2 corners and the ball of your feet has 2 corners in the front. And then we're reaching down with our arms. You can lift up your shoulders, pull them back and down so that we keep our chest open. So our chest is open. We have our arms slightly away from our body, like eggs under armpit. We have a little bit of space underneath our armpits. And we're standing straight. Our toes can slightly bend inwards, just very slightly. You'll notice that it improves stability in your posture for standing, where if your feet are outwards, you may feel stable, but to have this line of energy coming up, it's actually a slight tucking in our toes together. We can stand with our feet together, but for this exercise, we're just going to do feet apart. And now just stand here and feel engagement through the whole body. Feel the opening of the shoulders and the chest, engagement in the hands that's gently pulling your hands down. You're not engaged like stiff, you're engaged loosely. So your whole body is in active engagement in a loose and relaxed state. This is the state that is most ready for action, where you're not tight in any way, you're completely loose, but engaged. Now just take a few breaths here, and imagine pulling energy up in front of you and sending energy down behind you. And then we'll begin with our sun salutation. So, standing at the top of our mat, now we bring our hands forward on an inhale, and slight back bend as you reach your fingers backwards. And then we exhale into a forward fold, reaching for the ground. It's okay if you can't touch all the way on the ground, but just lean forward as much as you can. Let your head hang down. And then on an inhale, lift your right leg, put your right foot back, your toes touching the ground, and drop your knee. And inhale, bringing your chest forwards and looking chin up to the sky. Exhale and press with your hands and begin to raise your right knee. Lift up your left knee, send it backwards, and push into a downward dog. So now our glutes are going up into the air, our shoulders are coming down, our chest is melting towards the mat as we keep this triangle shape. Take a deep inhale here. If you need to, walk out your legs in the back. And on an exhale, begin to come forwards, going through a chaturanga, down to the ground. And then when we land, we enter this knees, chest, chin pose. So we have our knees touching the mat, our chest touching the mat, and our chin touching the mat, as well as our hands. Take an inhale here to see how it feels. You'll notice sensations in your low back as you can actually allow your your back to relax a little bit, and you'll feel your low back kind of engaged. And then on an inhale, press up, drop your pelvis, and lift from your back, not pressing in your hands. You should be able to lift your hands up and pulling upwards. Your hands can stay planted, but just don't put too much weight in them. And lift upwards and really try to come back as much as you can, engaging your back muscles. And then exhale and press into the mat to push back up and send your butt back into our downward dog. Now inhale and bring your right knee to your chest, and then step forwards so your right knee or your right foot is forwards in a high lunge. Now drop your left knee back down to the mat into a low lunge. And again, lift your chin up and breathe in, opening up your chest. You should be able to let go of your hands, even though we don't have to, but to be able to keep your balance as you're rooted here. And now exhale to push up a little bit. Bring your left leg forward to the top of the mat and fold forwards. Again, relaxing your head and letting it hang downwards. Now on an inhale, roll your spine all the way up, and then reach back into our slight back bend. And exhale, bring your hands over heart. And that completes one side of the rotation. So now we'll go into the other side. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, hands come up into a back bend. Exhale to fold forwards. Now this time we lift up our left leg, put our left foot back, drop our left knee, lift up our chest and our chin. Breathe in. On an exhale, press your left knee back up, move your right leg back, push into a downward dog. Take a breath here, and then on an exhale, drop your knees, chest and chin. Then an inhale, drop your pelvis, lift up your chest. Exhale, push up, back into a downward dog. Then inhale, bring your left foot forward, drop your right knee, raise your chest and your chin. And then exhale and step your right foot forward, drop into a forward fold. Inhale, bring your arms up slowly, rolling your back into a back bend. Bring your hands together, exhale, hands over heart, in Namaskar. Now go ahead and do this again. This time I'm not going to demonstrate, but I'll come around and do some adjustments. So, exhale, hands down, inhale, hands up, slight back bend, exhale, forward fold, and then inhale, bring your right leg back, drop your right knee, inhale and bring your chest and your shoulders open, chin up. You can keep your hands on the ground, but just focus on that shoulder opening and chest forward. Then exhale, bring your left foot back, press into downward dog. And then drop down to knees, chest, chin on an exhale. Then inhale and lift your chest forwards. Chest and chin up on an inhale, drop your pelvis into a cobra. Oh, the sun decided to come out for us. All right, and then exhale, drop down, push forwards, back into downward dog. On an inhale, bring your right leg forward, your right knee to your chest, and then step into a high lunge. Drop your left knee down to the mat into our low lunge. Try to bring your foot forwards here to have this in a 90-degree angle. Yep. Same here, a little bit more forwards with your knee or your ankle. Yep. So you want to keep like a 90-degree angle here. In this pose, you're looking to really stretch your hip opening here, and so this stays like this. If you're doing this, you're not getting the engagement here. You feel that difference? When your foot's more forwards, you're getting much more of a stretch. And then exhale and step forward into our forward fold. Inhale and rise up into our slight back bend. Exhale and hands come into Namaskar. Continue your exhale, let your hands drop. Inhale, bring them up again. Slight back bend. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, bringing your left foot back this time. Drop your left knee down to the ground. Chest up, open. And then press your left foot down, your right foot comes back, downward dog. Focus on keeping your heels down on the ground. So hold this downward dog for a few breaths. Your heels are flat on the ground, which is good for you. Slightly push down more here. Let your head drop. Don't feel like you need to look up. Keep it dropped and you feel the engagement in your shoulders here. And for you, you want to, can you walk your hands back just a little bit, like one palm length? Yeah. And then drop your heels. Or walk your toes a little bit forwards. And then drop your heels more. And see how your heels can drop here. You may need to move your stance closer together in order to do that. But you're getting closer to the angle we're looking for by bringing you guys keep holding that, but just like take a look up at me. And so there's a difference. Ray, look over here. Okay, you can come out of it for a sec, that's fine too. So there's a difference from when I can be very narrow together here, and my feet and my hands are completely on the ground. The more that I walk out, the more difficult it gets to keep your heels on the ground. If you're all the way out like this, it's very hard to get your heels down on the ground there. But we want to come into a triangular posture where we're aiming to be pretty much, our center of gravity is fully supported by both our hands and our feet. And we're pushing our butt kind of up and letting our head drop in between our shoulder blades, which keeps us into this triangle posture. Make sense? Yeah, that's okay. You'll feel different parts of your legs being engaged even as you could practice this in another time too, to walk forwards and backwards. But let's not break the flow. Go back into downward dog now. Now bring your left foot forward and drop your right knee into our lunge and look up. Take a breath in. And then exhale and step forward into our forward fold. And inhale, begin to rise up. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands over heart. Now from here we'll go a little bit faster and we'll do one full round of Surya Namaskar, just at a quicker pace. And after that, we'll go into some variations to get a little bit more stretching throughout the whole body. So go ahead and get centered, the top of your mat. My cues mostly on this round will just be the inhale and exhale, but you can watch me to follow along. It's just, we'll be moving at a faster pace, so I won't have time to explain each posture. So we inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. You take a breath here, inhale. And exhale, drop knees, chest, chin. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Switching sides. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now we'll go into the same Surya Namaskar with some variations. Inhale, arms up, a slight back bend. Exhale, forwards fold. Inhale, right leg back, drop your knee, chin, chest up. And exhale, we're going to change this up. We're going to lift up our back leg, and we'll come into a high lunge on the inhale. And then exhale, twist open into our warrior two. Keep holding this for a second, and I'll explain what your warrior should look like. You should have 45 degrees angle in your back foot, not completely flat like this and not completely forwards, but 45-degree angle. Your front foot should be straight, parallel with the mat. Your front knee should be bent at close to a 90-degree angle. A true warrior stance would have a full 90-degree angle where you're completely stretching down here to engage. But for now, just whatever's comfortable for you, hold up. Close to 90-degree angle here with your right foot. Your front fingertips and your back fingertips should be making a T shape. In line with your shoulders, your gaze is extending beyond your front fingertips. Now let me come around and see if you need any specific adjustments. Keep this a little bit lower to keep both arms parallel. All right. Now from our warrior, we'll reverse the warrior, bring our right hand down to our thigh, bring left hand up and backwards. So we're doing a side stretch. On an inhale, bring yourself back to center. And then we'll cartwheel over, placing our left forearm onto our thigh. And then here we're aiming for an angle that is pretty much a straight line from your leg all the way up your arm. And you're bending over and you're looking for that side angle stretch. So you want to twist your torso a little bit more and you're aiming to get this stretch. You feel that in here?
Mm-hmm.
Same with you. You want to come, oh, sorry. So go ahead and get back into the posture. Keep your feet grounded, but you want to twist your torso a little bit. So we're opening here and then twisting here, and so you feel that stretch here, right?
Okay.
As this gets pushed forwards more,
Don't push me backwards.
you have the stretch that's going here, but you should be twisted where your hip is pretty much in line. Like here, she's got more stability because she's able to push through. This is centered, and then she's carrying the same line here where she's twisting open. Yeah, like that. And then from here, now you notice how your arm, like it's a little bit more, it's harder to stretch, right?
Don't push me over.
So in here, it's where you're aiming to bring your arm back this way
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can, but you feel that in the side, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Get out of it.
Yeah, so
Leave me
from here,
Oh.
come back up into your warrior two, and then we'll kind of cartwheel around, bringing our hands back down into our lunge, and we'll now go into downward dog. From downward dog, I'd actually like to just do this stretch real quick. So drop to our knees, go back into our hero's pose, and this is just kind of a recovery pose. So now we're stretching the legs here. You can lean back into a camel variation where you can press onto your toes. You can start to open up the joints in your toes and your feet, and bring your hands back into a bit more of a back bend, bringing your chest open towards the sky. Your pelvis can come up and forwards. Press my fingers. Yeah, keep that engagement, pressing here. Same thing, press my fingers. Yeah, so keep that engagement. Good. And now come forwards, sitting back into our hero's pose, and we'll just go right back into our downward dog. And now we drop, knees, chest, and chin. And then exhale, drop your pelvis down. Inhale, raise up your cobra. And this time you can try out a variation where you do use your hands, press into them, and go back further in your back. And then exhale, push up into our downward dog again. Inhale, bring your right foot forward. And instead of dropping your left knee this time, twist your left foot so that it's completely sideways. And drop down. This is a tough pose for me, so if you guys can do it, you can do it, but Skandasana, where you drop kind of like this. Yeah. It's tough for me. You're supposed to be able to keep your foot grounded and flat It's okay if your heel comes up, but my hips are a bit tight, so I can't do it in the fullest expression of the posture. Okay, and then from here, you can come back and twist back forwards. And now exhale, bringing your feet together, forward fold. Take a moment here in your forward fold, grab your elbows, do a little bit of a ragdoll. And then inhale, come up. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands together. Continue your exhale. Out, and then inhale, bring your hands up. Slight back bend. Exhale into our forward fold. Now we bring our left foot back, drop it down, and we go straight into that variation on the other side. So we don't drop our knee, instead we lift up into a high lunge. A high lunge, your back foot should actually be straight. Yep. And then reaching your fingertips up towards the sky, you can kind of look up a little bit, but you'll lose your balance most of the time if you do that, until you get more balanced. On the grass, it's difficult to balance. And then exhale into our warrior two. Take a few breaths here, remembering those pointers. Keep your wrists loose but straight. There should be no tucking or tucking of one way or the other, just flat and straight. And then cartwheel down towards your back, our reversed warrior. Stretching open your side body. And then exhale, come back to center and fold forward to reverse onto the other side. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale, bring your hands back into our warrior two. And then we fold forwards into our lunge. Move our right foot back, push into downward dog. On the exhale, dropped knees, chest, chin. Inhale into either our, we can do this in 3 different ways. You kind of have a baby cobra where you're just lifting up from your neck, pulling backwards in your chest. You can have a full cobra where you're very minimally engaged with your hands just to keep your balance and pulling your back with your whole back muscle engaged. Or you can use your back muscles less, but push into your arms to get more of the stretch for the flexibility. And then exhale, down, push up, send your hips back, downward dog. Walk out your legs a little bit here. Then inhale, bring your left foot forwards. Drop your right knee into our lunge. And then exhale into forward fold. Inhale, arms up, back bend, exhale, hands together. All right, now I can tell you're feeling hot, right? So we're going to start to do a little bit more cool down. From here, just come to a seat on your mat, but let's go into a seat through chair pose. So bring your arms up, and on your exhale, slowly sink down, steady your posture in your feet, bend like you're sitting into a chair. Keep your arms up and in front of you, and hold this pose as long as you can. Sink a little bit lower. Feel the glutes start to burn. Take a few breaths. And then slowly let yourself come down without collapsing and just come to a seat. Send your legs out in front of you. Now we'll kind of bring the same attention that we had to our standing straight posture, but now we're bringing it to our sitting straight posture. So focus on straightening your spine, straightening your legs. This entire time we're keeping engagement through the whole body. We're not like letting go or forgetting about our fingers or our toes. We're just keeping that engagement there. Put your hands out to your side. Bring your chest forwards. Your hands aren't pressing really hard. Like you shouldn't be able to just like push up into this, but you're relaxed and engaged. Your fingers are engaged into the floor. You can have your hands bent a little bit or your elbows bent a little bit, but try to keep that engagement straight with your chest coming up, eyes level on the horizon in front of you, and send out like you're kind of pushing in your heels a little bit. Send out your heels in front of you so that your legs are straight. The bottom of your kneecaps should be coming down to the floor, but you're not pushing them down into the floor. It's as a result of you pushing your heels forwards that your kneecaps drop down. Now from here, keep that engagement and lift up your hands on an inhale and stretch. Reach up into the sky. Really send your fingertips are reaching into the sky above you like you're trying to grab something just out of your reach. And you're trying real hard to get that, maybe a little string that's like just up there like a cat. Like they're really trying to reach at that string. Just really reach your fingers up there. And then exhale and begin to fold forward, but fold from your sacrum, your lumbar, your low back. Don't fold from your shoulders yet. Just from your low back. Which is kind of like chair posture, you'll feel. You feel a little bit of engagement. You won't be able to go all the way down with just folding from your low back. You get to that point where you're like, okay, if I don't curve my shoulders, I can't go down anymore. So we want to sit at that point to really feel the most stretch in our low back, where our spine is straight and our arms are weighted, and we're just using that to fold forward from just back here. And from there, let go of your arms down to touch your toes, keeping it just your low back that's folding. Your shoulders should still be straight as possible. And begin to fold forward more, using your toes a little bit for leverage, but don't crank it too hard, just enough to get an extra stretch in that low back area. And then you can let yourself fold all the way forwards. Aiming to touch your chest to your knees, your chin to your knees. And we inhale as we rise up from there. We can shake out our legs a little bit. Feel those stretched and loosened. Bend our left leg in towards our right in a half butterfly pose. And now we'll kind of bring the same thing to our right leg. So we inhale up, and then we bend from our low back, but this time we're just going to go through a bend all the way here. Reach for our toes and get a bit of a stretch. Now inhale and bring yourself up. Bring your arms back up, and this time put your left hand down to your right shin. Begin to twist, but twist from your belly first. Don't actually twist your shoulders too much. Focus on just turning from your belly, and then once your belly gets the most it can go, you turn your chest, and from your chest you let your shoulders go, and the last thing to go is your head and your neck. So your neck is the last thing to turn all the way around as you reach back to place your hand behind you, and you're aiming to look completely backwards. Take a few deep breaths here and notice how it fills into your chest and really seems to complicate the stretch when you take a deep breath in. Feel where that resistance is in your belly or your chest or your shoulders. You'll have some kind of tension somewhere that's being addressed. And then exhale and slowly unravel yourself, starting first by moving your neck forwards and then letting the rest of your body unwind forwards. And then we'll do a quick counter on the other side. So bring your right hand to your left knee. Again, turning from the belly first, the chest and torso afterwards, and the neck is the last thing to turn, placing your hand behind you. While in this pose, you can also do a little bit of neck rolls. I noticed for myself that it's got some shoulder tension that the neck roll is helping with as I turn here. And then exhale, returning forwards, slowly unbending. Push your left leg out in front of you and bend your right. Do the same thing on the other side. Start by inhaling and reaching your arms up, then exhaling and folding forwards. And then inhaling, coming up, turning to your left side, placing your right hand on your left thigh, turning from your abdomen, chest, shoulders, placing your hand behind you, and then turning your neck last to look back behind you as far as you can. Take a few breaths here. And then on an exhale, release your neck first, then let the rest of your body unravel forwards and counter it by turning to the other side. Take a few deep breaths here. And on an exhale, return back forwards. This time, place your feet into butterfly. And we can just begin to flap our legs a little bit. Don't go too quickly to start. Just kind of do slow, even motions. And then flap them a little bit faster as your joints feel more comfortable. Try to make more exaggerated movements. The butterfly coming all the way up and then letting it just kind of come. You're actually pushing down and letting the rebound come up. So you're focusing on pressing, and the rebound up is just the natural reflex. All right. From here, go ahead and begin to lay down onto your back. Keep your feet flat on the floor, laying on your back like this. We're going to do some shoulder stands. So, to prepare for that, bring your knees to your chest, hug them into your chest, and then take your feet, begin to put them straight up in an L. Place your hands to your side, and from here, move your feet over your head, rolling into plow pose, keeping your hands by your side, not turning your neck. Do not look at me. Keep your neck straight, Looking at your knees. Yeah. So your goal should be you're
If I can
aiming.
use my hands.
You can use your hands
Oh, I
if you
can't.
need to for support, and then you can push your toes. You're aiming to press onto the toes to the ground there,
Really tight.
and good. And then from there, we're going to, and since I don't want you looking at me, I'm just going to instruct both of you. I'll start. Well, you need to stretch a little bit more, so you stay in cloud pose a little bit longer, and you can start to come up. So bring your knees up here, but from here we're going to push straight into shoulder stand. So now you're going to push with your arms, and your legs are going to come back up, but you're going to stand on your shoulders. So like your whole body's going to come upwards. So push up. Yeah. And then
Can't do it without using my hands.
yeah, sorry, go ahead, release your hands to push up, and then use your hands on your low back for support, and then try to keep your legs as straight as possible. So if you can, balance yourself, keeping your legs up. Good. That's a good shoulder stick. Okay. And now you can do this too, so begin bringing your legs up. And again, legs as straight as possible. If they don't go all the way straight, that's okay. Whatever you need to keep your balance. Okay, and then release by slowly bringing your hips down. You can bend your knees. It's a little bit more helpful when you're releasing to bend your knees. Yeah. And from there, bring your legs straight up in front of you. Bring your right knee to your chest, and then turn so that your right knee is going towards the ground into a spinal twist. Keep your right arm out in a straight line away from your body, and look towards your right fingertips. And take a few breaths here. Now begin by turning your neck first to look straight up, and then untwist your leg, put your right leg out straight, bend your left knee, bring into your chest, and then your left knee across your body. The other way, bring your left arm out and look at your left fingertips as your left knee is aiming to touch the ground. Now bring your neck straight up, bring your leg out straight. Now relax into our Shavasana position with your feet the width of your mat, your arms spread out further than that, and completely come to a relaxed state. But before we completely relax, we're going to tense our entire body. And we'll do this 2 times before relaxing. So in this position, slowly start to inhale and begin to tense every muscle in your body as consciously as you can, not like tensing too, tense as much as you can. Tense your whole body. Flex every muscle that you can consciously flex. And then on the exhale, release. Release all of that tension and completely relax. And then we'll do this one more time. Inhale and flex your whole body. Every muscle you can think of, just flex. And on the exhale, completely relax every muscle. And let your breathing return to its natural state. Notice the quality of your breath and how it may have changed since before the practice. And note how your body feels. From this state of relaxation, begin to slowly bring awareness and attention back into your fingers and your toes. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes as you come back to awareness. Turn to lay on your side, whichever side you're most comfortable with right now, keeping your eyes closed. And from your side lying position, gently press up and come to a seat. Again, continuing to keep your eyes closed. Notice how your body feels, the state of relaxation that you've achieved. If your body feels more open and more alert than it did previously before the practice began. And if not, that's okay too. Just paying attention. As we bring the practice to a close, try to keep this awareness that we've cultivated present throughout the rest of your day. Staying aware of your fingers and your toes, of your connection to the ground, and of your connection to the breath. Tying your movements to your inhales and your exhales. We'll close the practice with a single chant of Om. First, take a deep breath in through your nose, and a long, slow exhale through your nose. Now breathe in for Om. Bring your hands over your heart, rub your palms together, generate some heat. Place your warm palms on your eyes. And slowly bring your palms away from your face and blink open your eyes. Namaste. How are you feeling?
Tension. Soreness inside.
Right?
More weight.
Yeah, you weren't so awake when you arrived. And do you feel like you have expansion in your body?
A bit.
More awareness? Thank you for joining me for my first official Yoga by the Lake class. I plan to do this regularly, at least once a week, probably on Tuesdays at this time, 8 a.m. on Tuesdays. So please join me for the rest of our classes. And now I'm going to serve tea if you'd like to stay for some tea.